Greetings to all humanity, and beware. We are about to resurrect from under the rock of obscurity a soundocopia of spoken word, comedy, and unique musical creations from the world of vinyl records. Harken back with us now to those benighted days when sound was recorded with the carving of an actual physical groove upon gleaming black discs that would become ephemeral forever. Those days have now returned with the Hidden Groove. Tonight's episode is about sex. All 7 words will be said. Explicit sex acts will be described, humored with, and sung about. Sadly, you will also be forced to learn things, such as exactly what did America know about sex in 1956? Let's let Dr. Murray Banks use the Kinsey Report to tell us how much old Ozzie, Harriet, Ward, and June knew about sex.
The amount of ignorance about sex is fantastic, simply fantastic. And as a matter of fact, every one of you sitting here tonight is too old for this program. You should have been here when you were 10, 11, 12. You are much too old right now, because you're going to find in a few minutes that your attitudes about sex and your particular outlook about it has been formed a long, long time ago. And it is amazing how we think and believe certain things about sex. Now, listen to these figures. These are not Kinsey's, but they're nevertheless very accurate. 98% of all people in America are sexual cripples. That's right, 98%. There are very few people who are those artists of life who can live with and enjoy sex as God meant him to. Most of us struggle and suffer under sex like a donkey under a burden. And if the animals in the forest could see how we behave and how we think and how we feel about sex life, they would sit down and chatter and laugh and bemoan how sick these poor human beings must be.
It took 18 years and a sexual revolution to make this next track possible. I found this album at an antique store in New Orleans that's no longer there. It's a bit scratchy, but you won't mind after the very first lyric. Trust me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the opening number of Let My People Come, a sexual musical.
cocksucker, cocksucker, suck of a cocksucker, could suck cock. How many cocksucker, cocksucker, suck of a cocksucker How many times could a cadaver if a cadaver could love cunt? How many times could a cadaver if a cadaver could love all that cunt? How many times could a cadaver laugh? Everybody loves to screw. If you don't like to do it too, no one ever likes to talk about it. Everyone would be in shock. But we think it's time to liberate your genitalia. Let's hear from pussy and cock.
So, we lose you yet?
More likely you want more, you decadent wombats of lust.
And you shall have it.
I love that album. Oh, and the more I have found out about the musical Let My People Come, the happier I have been in my life. Produced in New York City in 1974, the cast was nude on stage. Every song was an exploration of taboos and mores and hang-ups and, well, all about putting things in other things. The most famous track is Side 1, Track 3, I'm Gay, and it's all about a man coming out to his parents. It's honest, sweet, well-performed, and it's all about the honest expression of love. So you won't be hearing it on this episode. We're getting puerile. And you know, when I think puerile, I think Aaron Mendenhall. But since you didn't go to my middle school, you never met him. So the second person I think of when I think of the word puerile is Martin Mull. Here he is with the best introduction I have ever heard.
Before we go any further, I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight, or however you reacted. And right now, I'd like to do a brand new bossa nova piece for you, my newest and my favoritist. I know what you people like. You love the bossa nova. You love to go and see it, and you like to hear it as well. And you like to hear it well played. Well, I think this bossa nova piece is...
Martin, you can't sing that song. I know the song you're about to sing. You can't sing it. It's a dirty song. It's filthy, Martin. Filth. You understand what I'm saying? You want to sing a song like that, you got to clean it up. Filth. Filth, filth.
Irritated? No, I don't think so. I think just interested. So many are interested in my music. They come up and say things like, "Hey, Marty, how do you write those songs? What do you do first, words or lyrics?" And I always say yes. But in fact, the way I do it is stream of consciousness. Well, in this case of this song, more puddle of consciousness, really. I have trouble with moving water. And when you write that way, occasionally, you will find yourself using we'll call it a common word, one you might see written on a wall, if you catch my drift. These words offend some people, and, well, there's a few in this song. I don't know what to do about that because I want to play it. I'll tell you what, a heck of an idea. Why don't I just hum those words that might offend, since there's only a few, and that way you people who are a little bit more squeamish, you have nothing to be offended about. And you people who are a taste hipper, and I think you know who you are, you'll know just what I'm talking about anyway. Heck, a lot of you probably even done it. I hope you enjoy it. Last night I took you home, and we began to You were such a only 17. Rubber shirts, leather skirts, and jars of Vaseline. Pick up the soap. Mayonnaise and rope. Then from the chandelier, the three of us. Hospital for life.
That album is from 1977. So, if you're wondering where the slang term for oral sex, Hummer, came from, it was not from that. Oh, and a special guest star on that track is Rob Reiner, as the guy who tells Mr. Mull his song needs to be a Hummer. And now, Jayne Mansfield, reading a poem about a nipple. Not her own nipple or poem, but I'm not going to hold that against her.
Have you beheld with much delight a red rose peeping through a white, or else a cherry double-graced within a lily, center placed, or ever marked the pretty beam a strawberry shows half drowned in cream, or seen rich rubies blushing through a pure smooth pearl, and orient too, so like to this, nay all the rest, is each neat niplet of the breast.
That was Robert Herrick's 400-year-old poem called Upon the Nipples of Julia's Breast. And thank you, Jayne Mansfield, for breathing new life into that poem. You ought to hear her do Dr. Seuss. So wrong, it's right! Now, when I say Albert Brooks's best work is on vinyl, about 50% of you will probably say, who the hell is Albert Brooks? 20% will say, sure. And the 30% of you who love and worship his movies and stand-up will call me a lying bastard and hurl rotten jicama fondue paste at my image. And speaking of sex, this next track is from Albert Brooks's 1975 album, A Star Is Bought, which includes a picture of himself and a little frame on the front in which to insert the picture and a fold-out stand on the back of the album so you can display it proudly right next to your creeping Charlie and its macrame plant holder right by that Papasan wicker chair from which you watch Donahue every day on TV. And if you know the 70s, you know the classical piece called Bolero.
No part of the classical music repertory is more closely linked with passion than Ravel's Bolero.
Psychomusicologist Dr. Adrian McVeigh.
The first time it was performed in public, history tells us that 2 members of the orchestra were caught masturbating behind the French horns. Since then, the driving repetition of this work has caused people to use Bolero as a stimulant for sexual activity. Yes, the piece is a turn-on.
All right, what does Bolero have to do with me? I'm not allowed to tell you how, but somehow, quite by accident, one afternoon on a vacation, let's say, I came across words, actual lyrics, in French to Bolero. I read them, I translated them, and one night I had a few of my highbrow friends over, and I sang Bolero to them, and I'll tell you, the level of sexual arousal in that room after I finished was scary.
I'd worked with Mr. Brooks for years on his light opera tours of Europe.
Peter Michael Davis, conductor of the Independent Symphony Orchestra.
And of course the orchestra has always enjoyed performing with him a great deal. But I remember the night of the Bolero recording session was truly extraordinary. We'd played Bolero numerous times before as an instrumental, but that night the musicians were so inspired by these lyrics that I remember I had to literally rope off the French horn section for the entire evening.
Should we do it on the couch? Or should we do it on the floor? Or should we check into a fine hotel, one with naked paintings? No, we'll not go anywhere. We'll stay right here. Let's not waste time. Why not take off your brassiere and put it over there by my socks? I'll make sure that the front door is locked. And I'll take the telephone off the hook. Gee, you look good standing there, wearing only shoes and pretty underwear. Would you mind if I ask, do you like children? You do? Well, get guess what, my dear? You'll be getting none from me. I've undergone some surgery. There'll be no pregnancy here. I'm about as potent as a warm glass of beer. Anyway, let us start. I'm getting old. Now, we're both standing in the nude. I don't want to be too rough, nor do anything too crude. Would you like to lie down, and I'll climb on top? Or I can tie you up and pretend that this is rape. I'll get dressed up like an ape, or name another act. I heard you were a kleptomaniac. Well, you can take a look at this. Say, do you mind if I tell you about the time I went to war? There was this squadron of planes, maybe 100 or so. They were dropping bombs all over my head. Well, what could I do? I went for my ammo and gun, and I single-handedly shot down everyone. There, my story's told. Does it leave you cold? It sure makes me hot! Now, the moment of truth is at hand. The evening has progressed just exactly as I planned. I don't think we should ruin it with much more foreplay. Whoa, my God above! I've never felt like this before, like I'm the sea and you're the shore. And as my surf begins to pound, if you promise not to make a sound, you will actually hear my time coming. Oh, 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 it's like a roller coaster into space. Oh, Lord, this must be the place. Yes! Oh, now! God! Oh, how much do I owe? It's free, no charge for me. I love you!
There's something about the classics when they're altered for a cheap joke about suburban sex. I'm kidding. I love that piece. Love it. Hey, John Dryden is a dead English writing person that many other dead English people really liked. And apparently he also has supporters among the living. I have 2 tracks about married sex. And the first one is Dryden's poem, Why Should a Foolish Marriage Vow? It makes a pretty good argument. And the argument gets even better when read by Jayne Mansfield.
Why should a foolish marriage vow, which long ago was made, oblige us to each other now, when passion is decayed? We loved, and we loved as long as we could, till our love was loved out in us both. But our marriage is dead when the pleasure is fled. 'Twas pleasure first made it an oath. If I have pleasures for a friend, and further love in store, what wrong has he whose joys did end, and who could give no more? 'Tis a madness that he should be jealous of me, or that I should bar him of another. For all we can gain is to give ourselves pain, when neither can hinder the other.
So folks have been making the argument for a while. In 1977, a musical called I Love My Wife presented the 70s version of this argument, the cultural fad of swinging, as a musical. The whole album is brain disco crazy. It's like White People Problems, the musical. Every single track is hidden groove gold. And keep in mind, this musical won 2 Tony Awards. It was accepted and respected by its peers. And this is just 3 years after the musical Let My People Come. Okay, so here's a song from the musical I Love My Wife called Married Couple Seeks Married Couple.
Married couple, pair whose passion is growing slightly stale, seeking couple who wish to scale greater heights, turn on colored lights, weekdays after 6 or Sunday nights,
with lots of love to spare
and time to share it. Gotten sick of bowling, find the TV unconsoling, had enough of Scrabble, wanna lose my fears and dabble in the lights, the social codes assail. Law says guess you're 20 years in jail, with a good book warning you don't pursue it naturally. We can't wait to do it.
Married couple seeks married couple. Friendly stay-at-home service.
Married couple seeks married couple. Ready, willing, and nervous. Married couple seeks married couple. Seeking love. Seeking love. Got sick of bowling, but TV unconsoling, had enough of Scrabble, wanna lose my fears and dabble. Married couple seeks married couple, seeking love. Married couple seeking love. Married couple seeking
Okay, first lesson here. That ain't love, and that's okay. Next up is Rod McKuen, and that's okay too. Rod McKuen is the patron saint of the hidden groove, and all of his works are metaphors about sex, or just about sex, or they're about social justice, or metaphors about social justice. It was kind of hard to pick just one, so I just randomly dropped the needle and let karma do the rest. All right, so let's give it a listen.
We stride the village streets and walk about the hill, talking with the hill people. We wander down familiar highways, eyes alert to familiar patterns. We watch the sun go down behind the buildings by the river and listen for the sounds of night to come. Hands held tightly, we greet the evening people and the city lights and the changing skyline. Then up the hill and home again. A brass bed waits. How lovely is the evening with a wide brass bed awaiting us. Let me lock the door and take the telephone off the receiver and open the window while you lie there waiting. It'll be a long night, filled with things we need. They fall from your hips quietly, starting down around your thighs, then gone. You slip out of them and become a naked little girl.
Naked little girl? What?
Then into bed.
What did he say?
For a long moment, nothing happens.
Oh, okay. All right.
Naked little girl, sleep forever naked close to me.
What, naked little... He just said it
Hold
again.
my hand. What? Lie closer.
Ew.
Now you are a woman.
What? I thought you said she was a naked little girl.
We fit each other's every curve perfectly.
Wow.
No sculpture could have made more perfect fits.
Oh, what?
Ours is a miracle, youth.
Miracle?
And when the souls are counted, someone will say of us, they fitted each other perfectly.
No, Rod, that's not what they're gonna say. Okay, second lesson. Don't trust karma. Or Rod McKuen. Hey, let's switch gears and listen to some good advice about sex, in particular with older women, from Benjamin Franklin, the dirty old bachelor uncle to the founding fathers. You know, I kept thinking I should cut this track shorter when I was working out the recording, but Franklin, he just keeps saying interesting, provocative, and insulting stuff. Check it out.
Advice on the choice of a mistress. From a letter written in Philadelphia on June the 25th, 1745. My dear friend, I know of no medicine fit to diminish the violent natural inclinations you mention, and if I did, I think I should not communicate it to you. Marriage is the proper remedy. It is the most natural state of man, and therefore a state in which you are most likely to find solid happiness. Your reasons against entering into it at present appear to me not well founded. The circumstantial advantages you have in view by postponing it are not only uncertain, but they are small in comparison with that of the thing itself, the being married and settled. It is the man and woman united that make the complete human being. Separate, she wants his force of body and strength of reason, he her softness, sensibility, and acute discernment. Together they are more likely to succeed in the world. A single man has not nearly the value he would have in a state of union. He is an incomplete animal. He resembles the odd half of a pair of scissors. If you get a prudent, healthy wife, your industry and your profession, with her good economy, will be a fortune sufficient. But if you will not take this counsel and persist in thinking a commerce with the sex inevitable, then I repeat my former advice, that in all your amours you should prefer old women to young ones. You call this a paradox, and demand my reasons. They are these. 1, because they have more knowledge of the world, and their minds are better stored with observations. Their conversation is more improving and more lastingly agreeable. 2, because when women cease to be handsome, they study to be good. To maintain their influence over men, they supply the diminution of beauty by an augmentation of utility. They learn to do 1,000 services, small and great, and are the most tender and useful of friends when you are sick. Thus they continue amiable. And hence there is hardly such a thing to be found as an old woman who is not a good woman. 3, because there is no hazard of children, which, irregularly produced, may be attended with much inconvenience. 4, because, through more experience, they are more prudent and discreet in conducting an intrigue to prevent suspicion. The commerce with them is therefore safer with regard to your reputation. And with regard to theirs, if the affair should happen to be known, considerate people might be rather inclined to excuse an old woman who would kindly take care of a young man, form his manners by her good counsels, and prevent his ruining his health and fortune among mercenary prostitutes. 5, because in every animal that walks upright, the deficiency of the fluids that fill the muscles appears first in the highest part. The face first grows lank and wrinkled, then the neck, then the breast and arms, the lower parts continuing to the last as plump as ever, so that covering all above with a basket and regarding only what is below the girdle, it is impossible of 2 women to tell an old one from a young one. And, as in the dark all cats are grey, the pleasure of corporal enjoyment with an old woman is at least equal and frequently superior, every knack being, by practice, capable of improvement. 6, because the sin is less. The debauching of a virgin may be her ruin, and make her for life unhappy. 7, because the compunction is less. The having made a young girl miserable may give you frequent bitter reflection, none of which can attend the making of an old woman happy. 8th, and lastly, they are so grateful. Thus much for my paradox, but still I advise you to marry directly, being sincerely your affectionate friend, Benjamin Franklin.
Holy glorious Steinem, that's a hell of a list. Whew. You know, just when you think he's gonna say something nice, he insults an entire gender. Yep, that's Benjamin Franklin, the inventor of the swimming fins. Hey, what do you say we give an actual older woman a chance to speak, huh? Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ms. Rusty Warren from the standard issue album of the swinging 60s, Knockers Up. Yeah, that's the record's name. Here's why.
People just sitting out there with your husbands and everything, and you don't care what happens to me. You sit out there and married to a man for 9 years, and you know he won't cheat because he still loves you. He's mesmerized. You've kept yourself beautiful. You're a very nice-looking gal. You got a little mink, dear. You work hard, and next year you'll get the whole coat, dear. It's nice. Oh, no, we have quite a few of those minks around here tonight. It's nice of you to come down here in this particular area of Florida and wear the kosher windbreaker. It's sort of funsies. But we, of course, we girls figure that we have a lot to project in this world today. Every one of us feel that, after all, if these men are campaigning to give the best that they have, then we, of course, must campaign to give the best of what we have. So, if I may, I would like to do a number for the young ladies to prove that we do have something to give. Are you girls ready? Knockers up! Knockers up! Knockers up! Ladies, get your knockers up! Hey ho! Hey ho! Come on there, girls! Roll those shoulders back and get your knockers up! Put a big smile on the world today! Come on there! Come on, you're leggy there! Get those shoulders back! Get those knockers up! There we go! Now, doesn't that make your navel tingle? Come on there, darling! Back with the shoulders round about! Throw your knockers up and out! Up! 2, 3, 4! Up! 2, 3! Oh, come on, girls! You're looking wonderful! This'll go through you and it'll be very, very vibrant! Give it a try, ladies! Come on there! Throw your shoulders back! Get your knockers up! Up, 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 up! There we go! We're about to start our march of the knockers! Where the ladies get up and march through the room with their knockers held high, flapping in the breeze, proving that we have something to give in the world today. Are you ready to commence the march of the knockers? Ladies, march! Back with the shoulders round about. Throw your knockers up and out. Hut, 2, 3, 4. Hut, 2, 3, 4. Hut, 2, 3, 4. Hut. Ladies, you're not marching. Come on, it's an easy thing to do. I bet when you go home, you'll march right through your living rooms with your knockers held high. And you'll look over at your husband and say, "Look, George, my knockers are up. Come catch me." Ah, yes, for you working girls who go back into the office tomorrow, I want you to do me a little favor. I want you to throw your shoulders back. Get your knockers up. Put a big smile on your face and your boss will look at you and say, "Hot damn, Beatrice got her knockers up." Knockers up, everybody! Hey! Ho! Knockers up!
If you're a woman, there's a good chance you still don't feel represented. And telling wives to stick their tits out to get what they want is hardly a response to culturally ingrained sexism. But in 1960, just talking about it out loud in public, if you were a woman, was something. And yeah, Rusty Warren was arrested several times for her act, for the same reasons that Lenny Bruce was arrested. Dig it. Then, after a decade of struggle, a book comes out called The Way to Become the Sensuous Woman. The author, Terry Garrity, just called herself just Jay. The book, it's a guide to having good sex within a heterosexual relationship with the woman's pleasure as the primary goal. It is explicit, and it was a huge bestseller. Yeah, because even by 1969, there was still so little information out there about how exactly to do all that free love stuff the hippies were singing about up in the hate. Garrity told you where to put what, how to put it, for how long to put it, what to put on it, and where to put it when you're done. It's a slim little volume of 192 pages, and as I read it, I found out where a lot of the best moments in my life came from. Thank you, Terry Garrity. Whew. However, when they tried to put this book onto vinyl, something happened. I'm going to show you what I mean. Here's the very first track of the record.
I am a woman, created to serve and to be served. I am a woman who loves and loves to be loved. I have lifted the chains of silent prejudice. I am free from the preconceived notions of taboo. I am a woman who loves and loves to be loved. I am a woman born to enjoy man. And only the sensuous woman I have become truly can. I have discovered the wondrous feminine potential of my own body, transformed myself into a sought-after, desired, beautifully fulfilled creature. Come, share this exciting intimacy from the very beginning. Enter into a world of perpetual delight, enriched by a joyous and fulfilling sex life. I am a woman, a sensuous woman, without those preconceived notions that have been stumbling blocks to my own sensuality.
The book doesn't start like that. In fact, that passage is nowhere to be found in the book. Granted, I'm not Sheldon Cooper, but I gave the album and the book a good eye scrubbing, and this album is not the work of the author. The subject is the same, the sexual techniques described are the same, it's got the title on the cover that matches, and certain phrases are lifted from the printed page, but nothing about it is Terry Garrity's writing. How the hell do you do that to a writer? And more importantly, why? Because the book was written for women. The album was made for men. Let's listen to what the record does with the section about masturbation.
Masturbation is a sweet and necessary physical endeavor. A self-induced experience that deepens and prolongs the pleasure that's the basis for full sexual stimulation. I've learned from masturbation to have several orgasms with my partner in the time it first took me to feel only the initial glow of arousal. I pick a time when I'm assured of lengthy privacy. I remove my clothes and sprawl on my bed. I close my eyes, letting my own fingers explore my sensitive areas, questioning. The head of my clitoris is ultra-sensitive. But there begins to be a warm feeling. It prickles when I rub the shaft and the soft flaps of skin beside it. Does it feel better on the right side or left side? No, both sides feel, so good. The whole area begins to feel tingly, The lips, these other lips, expand and become firm as the lubricant is massaged into them. Lying quietly, my eyes closed, I let my imagination escape all bounds. No social conformity is imposed inside my mind. I indulge in the wildest of fantasies, letting my mind float freely on someone who excites me. I imagine someone looking at me stretched out naked on my bed, my body open and hungry for him. I feel him caressing my breasts, running his hands down and over my abdomen, stroking the inside of my thighs, reaching higher and teasing my clitoris with a touch. In my fantasy, I lie on black silk sheets, my body curves and writhes towards his. My fingers become his fingers. My nipples, touched ever so lightly, become erect. The man of my fantasies now rules my mind, my body.
And there we can confirm a man wrote that. And another man, me, can confirm that none of this is found in the chapter on masturbation in the book. Oh, yeah. There's a resemblance, as in they both have words, and those words are in English, but there sure as hell is no mention of any black satin sheets or having a man rule your mind. Literally, the book is transformed from a woman's guide to personal pleasure to a pornographic album. Now, the section least tarted up and ruined is the section about fellatio, of course. All right, now check it out. They actually almost get clinical about it. I skipped the section about basic technique after listening to it 6 or 17 times. I think we could do without it.
I use my newfound skills for this basic oral technique. I gently press the man to lie on his back, and I kneel at his side, my knees at right angles to his hips. Or I lie beside his thigh. I take the penis gently into the palm of my hand. My strong, wet tongue slides around the head of the penis until it glistens with moisture. I slick my lips with my tongue, then stretch my mouth wide. My lips cover my teeth and curl under and over the tops of both rows. I remember, the covered teeth are smooth, hard ridges to caress the very, very tender penis. I must avoid nicking or scratching, for I create sensation of pleasure in this achingly responsive organ. I take the penis and suck it into my mouth, slowly moving my mouth down to the base and then back up to the head again. I experiment to discover what speed of manipulation is preferred. The slow and steady in and out stroke, strong quick strokes, or a combination of both. With this proficiency, I add the technique of the butterfly flick and silken swirl to my repertoire. One of the most arousing things I can do for a man is this butterfly flick. On the underside of the penis, actually the top side as the man is lying down and the penis stretches up towards him, is a subtle ridge called the corona. Just underneath this is the most sensitive area of a man's body. To drive him straight to ecstasy, my tongue flicks lightly back and forth across this membrane. Now I run my tongue down to the very base of the penis and back up again a few times, and then return to the butterfly flick. Only this time, I flick up and down the underside of the penis. I do it a little harder, a little faster, in quicker strokes. I continue until the man begs for mercy. Then I begin the sensuous silken swirl, continually circling the penis clockwise or counterclockwise with my tongue. I still slide the thoroughly slippery penis in and out of my mouth. I may decide to use another device, and some men are particularly fond of this. The Hoover, my affectionate name for this, I use first if they've not yet obtained full erection. In this one, I pretend my mouth is a tiny vacuum cleaner. It sucks the penis into my mouth of its own accord. Halfway, the penis goes in. Then, still exerting the vacuum pressure, I slowly start to slide the penis from my mouth. I am very careful with this double pulling action. My own excitement gives me too much energy. To divert my own attention, and because I love sweet things, I take some freshly whipped cream and add a dash of vanilla and some powdered sugar. I spread my concoction evenly on the penis so that the whole area is covered with a thin layer of cream. It is cool and cold on his genitals. I sprinkle on a little shredded coconut and then lap it all up with my tongue. My mouth is hot on the cream. He writhes with a tortured delight that brings him to full eroticism and a dynamic burst of orgasm.
Shredded coconut? Coconut? And there we can confirm a chimpanzee wrote that. Now, do you see that despite the subject, though, this part is not anywhere near as porny as the other passages? Yeah. Okay, and now, for a control group comparison, let's match that up with a song on the same subject. Ladies and gentlemen, once again from the off-Broadway musical Let My People Come, this is Side 1, Track 4, called Come in My Mouth.
Put your feet up on the sofa. Stretch out, baby, close your eyes. Feel my fingers walking over part of you I idolize. Now you're here in my hand, getting stronger, so soft on my cheek, getting longer. No need to speak as I take you between my lips. All day long I've been planning on how I was going to love you tonight, so I could show you how I absolutely adore you, so you know I am your woman. You feel so good. You feel so good. You feel so good. You feel so good. Run your fingers through my hair as you force my mouth to open wide. Don't you just love it there as I drink you deep inside? I can feel all your strength. What would you like me to do? I'll take you inch by inch. Just let me worship you. Fill me up so deep, you're touching my soul. You taste so good. You taste so good. You taste so good. You taste so good. I want to lick. I want to suck. I want to hug. I want to squeeze. I want to nibble. I want to make you scream. I want to make you the happiest man alive. I want you deep in my throat. I want to smell your sweat. I want to lap up your milk. Give me some. My mouth is a home. Fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me.
And you thought you'd never hear theremins and wind chimes in the same song. Oh, whew. Man. I think that's as good a place as any to close our show. Dude, I'm feeling very mellow. You know, this episode was a tough one for me to make. I don't really know for sure why. I just had trouble getting my mind to bend to it. This is about the 10th podcast I've done, and it's dirty. And you might hate me for it. It needed to be done. It's definitely a part of this world of records that I love, and all the stuff I shared with you is real, and I care about it a lot, and you might hate me for it. And I can't not care about how you feel. I want you to walk away from this podcast better than when you came, but no matter how hard I try, I will always fail to please some of you. And I don't like that. Man, I need a drink. Hey, where's my door to 1960? Oh yeah, there it is. Hold on. Okay. Hey, we're in time to catch Rusty Warren's final number. Double bourbon. And send the same to the singer. Here's to you, Rusty.
Oh, yes, here's to it. If I may, I would like to do this next number for the men of the audience that I have heckled so much throughout the entire show. Gentlemen, you're nobody till somebody loves you. You're nobody till somebody cares.
You know, I used to dismiss Rusty as a gimmick lounge singer, but 16 albums and a lifetime of entertaining people, and that's no gimmick. And you know, every single person that leaves this lounge, they're gonna leave smiling and happy. That's beautiful, right? The thing is, she's gay. Yeah. And I'm whispering because right now, in 1960, it's against the law to be gay. It's never just about sex. Keep on singing, Rusty. Keep on singing.
So find yourself somebody to love. Thank you very much for bearing with our show, ladies and gentlemen. Believe me, if I've embarrassed anybody during the course of the show, I wish you would please tell your friends. If you've enjoyed my show, my name is Rusty Warren. If you didn't enjoy it, it's Lois Lipschitz. We can't take any chances.